Todd finds Amanda. Amanda makes a choice. The Trusts and the Wendimoors are on the brink of war, and Susie arrives to claim her throne. Oh, and Dirk solves the case. It's an all-Wendimoor edition of Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency, Season 2, Episode 7. This is not Miami. Hey everyone, D here, and welcome to this week's review of Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency. So yes, there are spoilers. In fact, a few more spoilers we'll say tonight than normal. So, quite an episode this week. The darkness that we started moving towards through definitely last episode kind of exploded tonight, particularly on a bridge in Wendimoor. But we also had some sort of uplifting moments. You know, we got some case solved. We've got a reunion. So we've got some highs, we got some lows, we've got some very serious moments throughout this particular episode, and that's sort of where I actually want to start off with. Now, there's one of the particular strengths of this show is that despite how zany it can get and how weird and eclectic and off the wall and just insane, everyone approaches the subject matter with a sense of reality, of gravitas, of seriousness. And I think, and it is a wonderful way that sort of anchors the show down. And it's really the only way you can pull off, you know, an actual world inhabited by pink-haired knights that fight with swords, you know, and a giant moon hanging in the sky, and take those moments seriously, to give them a sense of depth and not have it just be a tongue-in-cheek comedy. However funny and zany this show gets, it also does not shy away from death, suffering, intense personal realizations. And I think that really gives a real strong character to this show and gives it the ability to, again, deal with insanity, but coming at it from a very realistic standpoint, where we still identify so strongly and feel for everything these characters are going through. And that's really evidently laid out when Todd and Dirk arrive in Wendimoor. At this point, Dirk is completely broken. He sees himself as a failure, as loss, and is deeply affected by the trail of bodies that has been left behind him. And as much as Todd here is really trying to be supportive and to push and to grow and even let him know that, hey, these things aren't your responsibility, that all those deaths, you didn't kill these people. For Dirk, this is the habit of his life. I mean, we did about this a couple episodes ago when he was talking about this is where it all changes, where it's all starting and it's great and it's fine, and then good people start dying and there's pain and loss. And he's seeing this all again. And yet, even in this particular one, he feels that he has absolutely no understanding of where things are. And this whole work last episode of just saying that, of just solving the case, here, I'm going to say I've solved the case, and that sort of lets it go. You know, it's that is empty. You know, there's not, he can't avoid that sense of responsibility for it. It still follows him around. So at this point, he's ready to just shuck it all behind him. Great, I quit. I'm not going to be an investigator. I'm not going to deal with these things. I'm not. He can't even talk about that he's not even going to engage. It's like he does. He finds the chair, and it's like, I'm just going to sit here in this moment and not move, because perhaps that's the only way I can't be the cause of these events. And yes, while the deaths are definitely hitting him hard, he actually stumbles onto, I think, what the real reality of it is. He says, when all these people die, and then I am left alone. And we saw him there at the beginning of this season. He was alone in Blackwing, just being shoved into boxes by Hugo there. But that's where he left. Last season, he solved the case, he made a friend with Todd, and just as it was all done, he was whisked away and left alone. in that position until the next case came along. So that this is just that pattern that he is seeing ahead of him. And the fact that he takes this all, again, so seriously, in the midst of a giant, of a total imaginative world with a giant smiling half crescent moon hanging up in the sky. It's one of those just strong, I think, moments of this storytelling, of being able to take these realistic moments and feel for this despite the insanity, and to be able to see why Dirk has really taken this so much to heart, and why in this particular path he would at this point have nothing left to give. But of course, when things are lowest, that's when you get lifted up. And, sometimes you just need that particular someone in your life that will tie you up and call you their boyfriend. Which was a great scene. Again, we go from the real seriousness of loss to the insanity, which sort of, balances out. Brings us back into the moment. We get hit hard, but we're not left there. We're carried on forward. So, great scene. I was checking the credits to see, if it was believed. I believe this was the Beast. This was the Witchy Poo that was in the box sale with Farson, and then with Amanda and Vogel when they first showed up. So I think it's the same one. I went back, watched it. Looks like the same. Credits look different. But anyway, just hilarious. I love the conversation. I love the idea, the interaction there behind, and of course the complete insanity. And there we even have Dirk drifting and more. This is it. My name's Bivets. I'm just gonna sit here for the rest of my life. And this, I guess things could be worse. It was just, it was a great kind of, again, lowest moment. But from there, we get to see everything, and we finally get to solve the case. So let's walk through everything that's going on. Now, we get our first big clue in the beginning of the episode, which was nice. We get to kind of see exactly what's going on. Is that the boy is creating all of these nightmarish things back in 1966 with the Cardenas and the flying purple people eater in his dreams. While he is dreaming this is what he is seeing, and we see as the mom goes to see him, he's reading a book, Panic, the Assault on... I couldn't see anymore because the book was all bent, but still, obviously, not a gentle story to be going to sleep with. But this is the boy's powers. The boy manifests these things in his sleep. So we've got that as our first sort of clue going in. Now when we catch up with Dirk, he finds the murals that are inside the little castle there, showing us our first big clue, and that is there's another boy. Well, specifically there's two Cardenas boys, and I would assume that Hector is the actual son of the Cardenas couple, and that this other boy, the boy, we'll say, was the one that arrived on the ship. Francis, as we saw in the Walter Francis, as we saw on the name of the boat. So this gives us a first clue. There are two boys, and that sort of lifts Dirk out of it. So now the realization that, oh my God, I didn't kill the boy, and thus the case is all over. That now there is something else. And of course, as he says, usually he stumbles into these things. So it's the perfect time. He's at his lowest point. He's completely given up, and that's when the universe sort of pushes you in the right direction. So there's another Cardenas kid, and he is the one that is manifesting things in his dreams. Now remember what Hector had said, is that the world there isn't supposed to be finished yet. It was the idea, which means it has been finished ever since, from what Hector was aware of. We also remember back in 1967 when everything went down, there were the monster attacks, and we had the big blackout, the parents were killed, and Hector was whisked away, and the house was shut down by the federal government. So if we start thinking about someone who's asleep, about the same age as Hector, and possibly in the hands of the federal government, we would have none other than Dirk's first assistant, Project Moloch. That's right, the old man in the coma that we saw back in the first episode in Space Rabbit. Nothing is ever done for no reason. And we remember Dirk was talking about that when he remembered him as a kid, and he was just laid there, just listening. You know, because he was probably in his dream state, that is where he has been this entire time, creating worlds, or perhaps locked in there. Perhaps the government had to drug him up in order to keep him from manifesting stuff in his dreams. Now, he's in a coma right now because he had a stroke when he was being moved from hospital to hospital, and probably because of the drugs and not drugs interacting and things like that. But that would perfectly make sense. Somebody who's been sleeping the whole time, that we know, and that Dirk certainly knows because he solved the case. And remember him saying that Hugo had said that this was the most powerful mutant Riggins had ever picked up. And if we're talking about somebody that can manifest things in your dreams, that's someone powerful. So yeah, Dirk did it. Did it. We'll do it again now. Did it. Congratulations, Dirk. Now, of course, what that means for Dirk is he is going to have to now get out of Wendimoor, get into Blackwing, pull Project Moloch out, I don't think they ever gave his name, and then get him back to Wendimoor. Or perhaps if there's someone around who could, say, reach across universes and reach across dimensions and pull someone over, that might also be useful. And speaking of Amanda, in fact, again, nice serious moments coming in with Amanda. Again, a lot of gravitas here happening within the very crazy world of Wendimoor. And we also have the sort of different points of view between Wakti Wapnasi and Amanda. You know, for Amanda, who not too long ago was not wanting to believe anything about Wendimoor, now completely connected, concerned about it, seeing nothing but death in her visions, and wanting nothing to do but stop it. And it has to be frustrating dealing with someone as wise as Wakti Wapnasi, because while she is saying, look, and it's kind of a practical point, if the boy comes, then he can fix everything, and we're good. And if the boy doesn't come, then we'll all be killed, and there's really nothing we can do about that either. So the whole panicky part isn't important. It's a nice philosophy moment, but when you're not really there, not really maybe connected to the world and thinking that you might be brought back by some mystical creature that Amanda hasn't yet grasped the reality of, you're going to be seeing things different. But I also, again, not like Amanda in her commitment to now everything. I'm just talking about, what kind of person do you think I am that I am going to walk away and let all these people get killed when there's something that I can do to stop it? And that deals with a lot of the conflict that Todd and Amanda come in. And I like that also, that after all of this pursuit, that it's not just the big Disney meetup and everything is all great and fine, we're reunited. They still have different motivations, and it's great that they do come together. And that was a great moment on the bridge where they see each other and they're like, ah. I mean, it was awesome. But even the fallout that we have after that is the fact that Todd's there to rescue Amanda. And he's got a legitimate reason. He put off going after Amanda, going after his sister, to go help solve this case. And now Dirk's pretty much checked out, which I love that Todd is pretty much, again, through most of the season, been more Dirk than Dirk. Probably not a great plan to just sort of run out into the woods yelling Amanda, though. I'm glad that he grasped that, but yeah, that was his plan. Run through the woods, yell for Amanda. Eventually it worked, but only in the Dirk gently kind of everything is interconnected way. But that is just sort of, that we have Todd that has that motivation, that's gone through so much to try and find his sister, that of course the one thing he wants to do is grab her and get her out of there. But Amanda has been in Wendimoor too long, sees everything as real. Again, she was in that exact same position just a couple episodes ago. So Todd will get there. I wish Amanda maybe just kind of help with the whole bring along on that point, but when you have lives at stake, you can't really debate that. And the scene on the bridge, where everything sort of falls apart. look, the build-up scenes to this were all kind of nice. I love seeing the background in with Silas and his connection and catching up with Todd. Litzy Bits was hilarious. I love the fact that her battle partner there has a literal war hammer. It's a giant hammer for war. But that I loved that moment. I also loved, again, the seriousness of taking everything seriously within the craziness. When she looks at her father and calls him a bobo fool, and he's like, now look, the music changed. Dun dun. How dare you call your father a bobo fool? You're the bobo. It was, again, it was so serious, and yet it sounds so ridiculous. It was just, I was eating it up. I love that balance they do so well in this show. But as everybody comes together, and again, we've got all of the interconnectedness, so it's perfect that Todd matches up with Silas and that we have Amanda and Farson connecting up with Litzy Bits there, and they're coming to do the big meet, and it's the obvious, we have the perfect chance to clear everything out, to clear it all up. We've got a boy, we're going to stop the war, we're going to expose the lies. Boom. And we have those scenes back and forth, especially where we have, Silas in so many of those moments, very clear and standing up, and this is what we could do, and this could be peace, and even have Litzy Bits on the other side, yes, I know we can do, and then throughout the whole scene, all I'm doing is waiting for someone to get shot. With an arrow. Is what I was thinking. Of course, arrows don't really exist so much in this world. It's slingshots, very deadly slingshots. But because again, it's that perfect moment where peace is right there, and especially once the two armies show up, then it's like, look, just waiting, because it's so obvious. And I love that that's what Amanda is saying. The one who will pull everyone together. Very clearly, it's like, look, he's been lying. You can say, look, Farson's right here. He's not dead. You said that he was dead, and he's not. You could see these lies, and these people have been manipulated. It's so obviously that point of reconciliation. You knew it had to all go wrong. And it did. And once that happens, complete chaos. It was a great and frightening battle. Again, we got pink-haired armorers with AK-47s versus guys with slingshots doing headshots and taking people out. Poor Litzy Bits. It was just, it was brutal, it was harsh. I'm glad that at least Amanda and Todd were like, here's a hole, we're out of here. But just, the complete cascading event. It wasn't surprising at all. Like I said, I was waiting for it, but it was built perfectly, because you have to have that moment of total hope that can all be accomplished before the rug gets pulled out and everything completely falls apart. So, beautifully done. And of course, now we have our two main forces now really mad at each other for reasons really that they caused, but they won't see logic. And I think that was the whole point that Farson and Silas and everyone had, is the parents aren't listening to reason. They just want to fight. And one person that's going to really help them fight is going to be Susie, who shows up just looking psycho. Still with the glass sticking out of her, looking to claim her throne. Quick bit between her and Wati-Watanasi, who you knew was going to die. She had pretty much accepted her own death was coming. It was up to the boy to fix everything or not. And I love her final little line to Susie is, you feel really powerful now, but don't worry, you'll feel small again. Knowing how that arc is going to happen for Susie, but certainly not right now. Definitely bests Wati-Watanasi with her Shapes of Doom. And then the arrival up on the bridge to claim her throne from the Kellum Knights was awesome. And I loved that she had her transformation. She goes from the crazy looking moment to then the spell and then dropping out and having really your official fairy tale villainess outfit. The beautiful with the eye makeup and all, it was awesome. And again, her just whole transition from that first, obviously I am insane to the yes, I am insane, but in full control of my senses, at least at the moment, villainous evil queen. All right, just a couple of things. First off, Burger Bush. I want a Burger Bush so bad. That would be so awesome. And you knew it was going to taste good. Yes, it's scary looking. Yes, it's a burger out of a bush, but from the same place that has marshmallows growing on trees. A marshmallow bush. The Burger Bush, yeah, that just looked delicious. When Dirk and Todd had their little face-off in the beginning, I really appreciate Todd's statement about friendship, because there's so much that he has given up in pursuit and helping Dirk out, and even, you know, with the whole case and giving up on his sister and so on. I just love that kind of line thrown back at him of like, you know, friends aren't just there when you need them, you're there when your friends need you also. Yes, it wasn't enough to get Dirk going, but you know, it's one of those things. I think Dirk is going to realize the importance of Todd's statement down the road. Todd's handcuffs or arm cuffs being a giant Chinese finger trap. Again, just brilliant kids imagery manifesting into real life stuff. They did amazing set design and prop work in this. That's all I'm going to say. Alright, so I think that pretty much covers everything. The case is solved? Well, no. I mean, for Dirk it sort of feels like the case is solved, but he's just identified the boy. Case isn't solved until he gets the boy to Wendimoor, so not quite yet. For that, of course, he's going to need Amanda, and she and Todd are now captured by the Kellum Knights. However, you know who is also out there? The Rowdy Three, and they are not going to let their boss be dealing with any knights all by herself, so I cannot wait for them to show up. And who knows, maybe even Dirk's new girlfriend will help out. You know, she does kind of actually remind me of like a Wendimoor or Bart. Just, I don't know if that extra image might be floating around in Dirk's head too, just kind of scaring her. And speaking of, we've got Ponto and Bart out there looking to come over and to Wendimoor. So it looks like we've got some more backup on the way. A lot of action happening in Wendimoor, a lot of things coming up. And while Susie's Queen, Mage may be rethinking his whole quitting idea if he thinks that everything looks clear. So we will have to wait and see till next week. There's only 3 episodes left. And we've got a war coming. That's what Wakti Wapnasi was telling Amanda about. A war is coming. Gonna have to gather up all the special people. I'm assuming that's all of the Blackwing group. And it's going to be Amanda that's going to lead. So as things get bigger, I think we're going to have a huge resurgence back with Blackwing also. So is that for this season, or is that hinting towards what's going to be in season 3? We have to kind of wait and find out. The clues are being dropped, but only so much at a time. So if you did enjoy this review, please go ahead and hit that like button. Thoughts, ideas, comments, throw those down in the section below. Do you like how this all wrapped up? Did you catch who the boy was going to be? And what about that big war? Do you think that's happening this season, or is that sort of a hint of things to come? Let me know your thoughts. Throw those down. And you can always catch me on Twitter and Instagram. I am at Darren Jakes. Now, if you aren't a subscriber, please do so. It's quick, it's easy, doesn't cost you anything, and you won't miss any of these great reviews coming up. Do that by clicking my face right here, and I'll throw up our latest few reviews right here, and you can check those out. So, thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you will be back, but that's going to be it for me. So, I am D, and I'm out of here. I'll catch you guys next time. Bye-bye.